And 35?
Do you folks need minutes over that?
Yes.
I'm probably the only one without the agenda, but I hand it out and all that. Who's this from? Sorry. Sorry, just trying to get my own agenda open. Okay. November minutes, if everybody has a chance now to take a quick look at those.
And if you have the copies that I made a couple of corrections. In the first bullet point, Chief Broderick mentioned keeping records either in cloud storage or as thumb drives. And
thumb drives as options, okay. Yep.
in the last of the second indented bullets, available is spelled wrong.
Oh.
Are you updating as we're speaking, Janet?
Yeah, I'll do that actually.
Okay. WordPress websites, it's actually the BEEBE library.
Where are you? Oh, there we go.
WordPress websites, B2.
Two E's in both and one on the end.
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Under new business, the idea is to offer coffee and pastries on Saturdays in December in the lobby.
I can't model the behavior that way. I think we're going to start with December.
And finally, under trustee orientation, the bullet trustee report card, it is advised that the board completes an annual self-evaluation. Is that right, Michelle? Not each trustee?
Correct.
So each board of trustees.
Yeah, not as individuals, but as a board.
Okay. Anything else? Does anybody else see anything? I wasn't here, so I can't speak to them. Anybody have anything?
That's good.
Move to accept.
I'll make the motion.
Second, okay. All those in favor? Sorry.
Aye.
Thank you. Trying to do too many things at once now. Director's report? Phil, do you have it?
Yes, you're here.
A couple of building issues. I've scheduled the floor cleaning, and that will be the restrooms, the marble, and the 2 kitchens. Again, I could use a hand moving furniture the evening before and putting it back together the next day. Really, I think the only, I mean, there's the bench and a table in the lobby, but it's the break room. There's, just a bunch of, I don't know if you've all been in our staff room, but there's some tables and chairs and upholstered chairs. And
Will that all have to come out to the tech area?
yeah, Well, yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah, you're right, that might be tricky, leaving access to that kitchen and putting all the furniture in the
Are they
services room.
doing behind circulation too?
No, that's some kind of athletic flooring, I don't know what
Oh, okay.
you do, I don't think we've ever done anything than just regular mop that, but with the tiles, it's the grout, and then in the kitchens, it's more of the wax. The gutters and the roof drains have been cleared. Mia, our insurance agency, sends someone around to do a tour every year. You know, they'll say, oh, you need extra fire extinguisher here, or, for example, last year we put the eye wash station in the custodian's closet. They just look for things like that, and the only thing he mentioned this year was that we could do some more tree trimming, which I will mention to Richard.
Was it in reference to height or distance from the building?
Closeness to the building, the
So at
trees
least 12
are
inches?
actually touching the building, yeah, they need to be further
Did he
away.
suggest a distance?
No, just not touching. Is 12 inches what you've heard?
I was guessing at that.
I've heard 2 feet.
2 feet?
Hmm.
That's probably close to moving the shrubs about that.
There's really only 2.
Okay.
They're that close.
There's a tree over here,
Mhm.
but it's really, I think, 2 trees. There's a whole side of our landscaping that only Phil and his family get to enjoy. And Richard installed a new hot water heater.
I saw that, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, within 2 days, it was replaced, so that was great. And the new one has a 6-year warranty, and that one obviously had been here for almost 9 years now, so I guess that's just their lifespan. And of course, we all know that the water in
Raleigh
Raleigh
has
is
water.
very, very poor, so all of our appliances will have a shorter lifespan than usual. Is there another copy?
No, I'm here.
That might come to me.
Have you got any further interest in the library assistant position?
I really haven't. We have maybe 1 qualified candidate and 2 not really qualified candidates at this point. And I suspect that posting it right before the holiday season had some effect on the response. I also think that our posting could be clearer. I mean, it's part-time, but it's only 1 shift a week, and it doesn't really say that. It's just not clear what, what level person we're looking for. The other thing that I'm thinking we might do is go back and look through old applications that we've had for previous vacancies and see if anyone in that list might be interested in applying for this one. So probably I won't do anything. I mean, I'll talk it over with Amy, and we probably won't do anything more until after the first of the year, or whether we repost or.
Makes sense.
Statistics are down. This is a trend overall. In fact, 27 libraries out of MBLC's 35 have circulation has gone down from fiscal 11 to fiscal 12.
27 out of 35.
Yes. But I'm a little concerned about the discrepancy that our circ is down 6% and our patron count is down 30%.
That seems very odd.
And I do know that there's at least 2 children who have learned to press the reset button on the patron counters. And the moms were like, oh yeah, they do that all the time. And I'm like, well, could you ask them not to do it, please? So Anna was going to make an announcement in story time explaining to the moms why our statistics are important.
Okay.
Is there a way to put something in front of it?
I don't know how you do that without blocking the signal. I mean, one of those little Pyrex things like you put over your thermostats, but you have to, I mean, you still have to just set it
You
every
still need to
day.
touch it.
Yeah. I don't know what the solution is for that.
Let's
We
start
have
with
a
just
plastic
asking
lock
moms.
box, and it's like a little key, you open up a little plastic and then
Yeah.
close it and lock
Yeah.
it again.
We could, I mean, I can look look into that.
Hopefully it wouldn't come to,
Yes, because it'll start by seeing if the moms,
we'll recommend.
And if I remember, kind of on Wednesdays and Thursdays, I'll try and look at it around lunchtime. The thing was, I mean, I saw the kids doing it one time a few weeks ago, and then there was one day when at 3 o'clock, I was like, why does it say 17? And Mary said, oh, those kids were all over the place over there, so it's not just Wednesdays. But if I remember, I've been taking a peek at it at like 11 o'clock and then looking at it later to make sure it hasn't been reset. So that's just one theory. I don't know, I mean, it could have been the weather, it could have been, for whatever reason, we had less patrons. E-books are still doing really well, and I'm sure we'll see another spike as we did last January. And we've had lots and lots and lots of programs. Thank you to those of you who were at the Staff Appreciation Luncheon. It was very fun. And this card here is from the staff thanking you for the party. We had 6 people come to the meditation talk. 32 people came for the author visit. The poetry slam was a huge success. Thank you very much, Michael.
Thank you.
35 teenagers here, all supporting their 6 performers. And then I guess there was a little more performance informally after that. I had to leave early.
Yeah. When we left, we ended a little early, so people were still waiting on the ride. So we're like, yeah, we'll keep it going. So.
Okay, so they were stuck here.
Yeah.
I guess it was not
Maybe
this
use some
information
time.
wasn't really
Maybe
conveyed to
use
me.
your time.
But did they use that time to recite poetry?
It was mainly me and another guy.
Okay.
One of the guy that Dylan, who took second, because we both have a ton of poems, so we just kept going.
And I heard that someone sang a song.
Yeah, someone sang a song. We were entertaining each other for the last hour, so it was good.
Good,
It sounded like it did very well.
yeah. And the kids were excited to have another one, right?
Yep.
Excellent.
Great.
And Pam, did you know, I noticed in the parking lot that I saw someone from the Daily News. Did you see anyone in the room, or was that just
I think
coincidence?
she was just here as a patron,
Okay.
yeah,
I wasn't able to come in, but I drove
yeah.
through the parking lot just to see the crowd, and I saw someone coming through, so I was like, oh, maybe
But
we're gonna be in the
again,
paper.
I left early, so I don't
Yeah.
know. Do you know if the town reporter stopped in?
Yeah, I don't know either. Michelle mentioned that to me too.
Yeah.
I didn't see anybody, but
Yeah.
no one asked me afterwards or
No
anything
one
like that,
spoke to
so,
you,
yeah.
Okay, then it may have just been showing box.
Is anyone else taking pictures? Your mom's taking pictures, right?
No, staying pictures.
So maybe we can coordinate something to send to the paper.
Yeah, I have a few pictures too.
Okay. Margot Burke had 15 people at her talk on state planning, and there were also 15 people here for the basket raffle drawing, which was very fun. And the raffle ended up making about $800 for the Friends. Finally, we are applying for we've put in a letter of intent to apply for an LSTA grant. They did let us know, the Board of Library Trustees let us know that they have 110 letters of intent. I have no idea what that means as far as competitiveness of the grants. Honestly, no idea.
You don't know how many they've had in previous years?
Don't
That's
know.
about a third of the libraries in the state, assuming they're all here in Massachusetts.
Well, you say that, but each town has a school library, there's many colleges and universities.
Schools as well.
There's also all of our networks, all apply for grants.
And could some libraries look for more than one grant if they had more than one?
It's discouraged, but it can be done, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we received the first payment of state aid for fiscal 13, which was $2,585.35.
Is that quarterly?
They do it in 2 payments. And of course, it's, anything could happen. There could be 9 C cuts. So they don't have it all to award at first.
Right.
That's why it's split up. It used to be 3 payments, and now it's 2. And I think that's just because there used to be money left over at the end, and lately there's not.
questions on the director's report? Somebody make a motion to accept the director's report?
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
And is there anything on the budget we should be noting or aware of?
Well, the bottom line is we have 49.98%, which we're halfway through the fiscal year, so that's ideal. The book budget is at 37%, but there's still $12,000 left to spend, and I'll tell you, it's hard to spend $12,000 on books. I mean, we get a 46% discount, so each one is like $12. So I'm not at all concerned about that being lower than our yearly projection. The repairs and maintenance does not at this time include the water heater. We haven't been billed for it yet. It was $345.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, I meant to ask, what was the size gallon?
I have no idea.
Was it a big tall one?
Yeah,
Okay.
here maybe.
Oh, 3/4, okay.
Where did we get? Minnesota or something like that in Salisbury?
Because all we really need it for is
Sinks.
2 bathrooms in the kitchen, 4 bathrooms in the kitchen.
4 bathrooms, two kitchens. I mean, I didn't even think about getting a smaller one, but I mean, that's how big the pipes are, you know what I mean? Like the pipe goes that far. So it had to be the same size as the one we took out, or else we would have needed a plumber. I don't know if it's appropriate to mention in the budget part, it's probably not on the agenda. But the wish list that we were looking at a little while ago, the Friends have purchased a CD/DVD cleaner for the library. It's here, Amy spent all day buffing up our scratched CDs. It is a little loud, so I think it will probably be a Tuesday morning maintenance kind of thing.
Okay.
And I think what they're going to kind of, in their minds, the basket raffle sort of paid for the DVD cleaner. I mean, not really, but they're sort of earmarking that money towards that machine.
Any questions on the budget? A motion to accept the budget?
Make a motion.
Second?
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, we have an update on Rochelle or somebody? 375th? Or Phil, you're all making a motion.
That's what's next in something good. Do you want to go forward?
Pretty much just elected officers, and next meeting will be the first Wednesday in January. And there's just some rough ideas bounced off here from 375th. And try to make it year-long, something each month here in town, but pretty much moved towards August, was it?
I got the impression that many of the town events are going to be in the summer and fall, so I'm sort of thinking we want to have our library event in the spring. And we talked about doing a community, well, the LSTA grants for a community read where we try to get everyone in town to read the same book. So at the next 375th meeting, I'm going to ask if anyone there wants to help us choose the book. Because we can do that, you know, far in advance. You know, you kind of want to read them and discuss them and figure out programming ideas around them. So the book selection is a very important part of the process.
So that's just to start earlier.
Yes. So I'm just saying, I think we need to sort of be on that now.
Okay.
If that's going to happen in the spring of 2014,
We need to start
we
off.
should start.
And
So
are
they-
is that just part of the outreach?
Should I have something each month happening?
But I mean, to plan, is it once a month? that you
Well,
need
probably
to-
for the community.
Yes,
groups,
right
yeah,
now,
before it's-
month to month,
they
you
can
know,
charge
sure,
that.
towards
Okay.
end of
That's what we're talking
2013.
about, the
I want
outreach
to do
committee.
more, and also be next month looking to establish subcommittees as well. Like, fundraising committee, finance
it was interesting because there was definitely the people who were also in the 350 and they had their ideas, and then there were some younger people who were like, Facebook, YouTube, a little bit of a disconnect there.
Yet the certain age group cannot understand social marketing.
Yeah.
Social
It's
media.
definitely needed for the marketing.
Definitely absent from the 350.
Yeah, we weren't using that.
So I think I asked Janet to just leave that as a regular agenda item to sort of bring updates every month.
Yep.
And I don't know how active it'll be. Like, once the subcommittees are assigned, it might just be small people working on different things, and we don't need to come together all that often. We'll see how it goes.
Right.
So we pretty much have only old business. There's nothing, since that is going to be an agenda item for the foreseeable future. We just need some updates, or one of them being the 9/11 display.
If you want to table that to the end, we could walk around the building. I don't know if you want to follow us or just we'll do that after the meeting. I think that's, we can just look at the various sites that we talked about.
Have you been in touch with Chief Broderick?
I saw Chief Broderick, and, well, I emailed him and I said, I have a couple of places in the library in mind. I also said, you know, it might have more impact if it wasn't out all the time, but we took it out every September and put it away the rest of the year. The other suggestion that I had was that it would be cool if it was somehow interactive, like even a guest book where people could leave thoughts or some other way to. So those were my suggestions in my email to him, and I said, stop by, or bring your committee over, or whatever. So I bumped into him somewhere, and he said, I haven't, should ignore you, I just haven't got my committee together.
Okay. So you sent us some logos separately.
Yes, and I printed those out as well. I didn't staple them together because I figured you kind of want to look at them side by side. I especially was interested in the ones that had taglines. And it was, you know, it was very interesting because a lot of websites, you see this, and others it's just the name and address and a nice font. And I think this, I really think something like this has more impact. I also, the Manchester by the Sea Public Library, I also copied, they have a logo made for celebrating 125 years. And I believe that's the library itself, not the town.
Oh.
What are we, 1893 or something? What's it say on the sign?
We should, I don't remember.
Figure that
sadly.
You know-
Is there in the history of the library?
What? Is that what's on the sign?
Did you read Johnson? Our refuge.
Yes, right. It doesn't actually say on our website.
So I looked at every library in MVLC and I copied the interesting ones. And then I also just kind of looked around the wider library world. I looked at some of the more, like King County and Multnomah, what do I want to say? They're just like leaders or something. Preeminent, yeah.
Very well-known system,
Yeah.
proactive, active in the community.
Like in the top 10 in the US,
Yes.
really. And as is Darien. And it was interesting that they didn't really have a logo, but they just had an image that they sort of echoed a bunch of different ways, so I copied those. So some of the taglines, Nantucket Athenaeum, enriching island life year-round, Weymouth Public Library, books and a whole lot more, the Public Library Brookline, where stories begin, Parker Memorial Library, information, ideas, experience, Wilmington Memorial Library, community starts here, Billerica Public Library, honoring the past, envisioning the future, and J.B. Fletcher Library, widening Westford's world. J.B. Fletcher does a lot of marketing. I wonder if I have something that I really liked of theirs. here's a little note to myself, for the 375th, have custom bookmarks made.
Yeah, there's a suggestion by, I forgot his name, the vice chair. We elected Bill Perry as
His
chairman.
name was Dave Morris? I couldn't remember either. I'd never met him before.
And Sue Hazen was voted as secretary.
I'm sure she'll stay on. I saw a quotation today. I was poking around after you sent that document. I was poking around at just random libraries all over New England, really. And there was a quotation, I just tried searching on it, and I can't find it, it's just going to drive me nuts. Something to the effect of the only entry or the only entrance you need is interest, or something like that. Which I just thought was kind of true.
Yep.
Very true, yeah. So I was wondering what something like that, it just struck me when I found it today. Because I hadn't really come up with anything for a tagline. I'm not
Yeah.
clever in any way like that.
I know John had mentioned before, and I tend to agree with him, that the quote from the Children's Garden is nice.
That's wordy for a tagline, though.
Yeah, I don't think it's appropriate for a tagline, but it's maybe nice to have, maybe if we click on a link to go to a children's page, to have it there.
Mhm.
I mean, I think it's appropriate anywhere, but
Mhm.
since it's from the Children's Garden, that maybe we can keep it with that.
And I did talk to Tom quite a bit. We had one phone call before he put the proposal together. And I mentioned that we were also considering doing some branding. Obviously, if we do this first, then he's using the right color schemes and everything else when he's building the site, so.
I just found it, the only entrance requirement is interest. That's the way it's actually phrased.
And you know what, I meant to also include the image that's on the library cards and the library bag. Is everybody familiar with that image Priscilla Seraphin made for us?
It's black and white.
Yeah.
I can go grab the bag.
I usually have I usually have mine with me, but it's got too heavy to carry.
And then when we had the gala for our 5th anniversary of this building, David Masher did a logo that was the heart of the community, because it was the heart of the community gala, because the building actually opened on Valentine's Day. So that's our celebration of that was sort of Valentine's themed.
So would any other municipality be bothered by the heart of the community?
I don't know, we use it.
I like that, actually. I like
Mhm.
that as well. Yeah. If it's not.
All right, I'll look for that image. I'm sorry, I didn't quite get that far today. It crossed my mind that it was something to look at again.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Oh, yeah, okay.
And that font is the same font that the Friends of the Library use in their logo. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the one underneath.
The brown public
With the
library.
swishy R's, yeah.
That's nice.
So one trend I definitely saw in looking at these was either a drawing of the library, or a picture of it, or a window, which I thought also was very
I
appropriate.
thought that too. I thought, you know,
We have
architectural
such-
detail
yeah.
would be.
We have unique windows in the
Our
character
unique windows,
town
yeah.
hall.
I also like the circle one because the Ezekiel Rogers seal is a circle, the town seal.
Billerica has the arched window overlook.
Mhm.
They got it all in there.
Attleboro almost has our window design.
Yeah, yeah.
And
There
it
was,
about
there was
somewhere.
one that I didn't print that looked like it had an actual photograph of some kind of beam construction that was probably from that.
So what's our next step for this?
I mean, Janet, you had a friend who might be interested. Priscilla, I'm sure, would be willing to take a stab at it.
We do need to know what we want, though.
But we need, yeah, well, okay, so two things. We need to know what we want and we need a professional to design it.
Right. Yeah, no, my friend said she would do it, I personally thought fairly reasonably, and charge us X amount if we don't choose it, and a different
Just
amount
for her
if we do.
time, right, right.
So, I think it was only $20 if we don't choose it. I'll have to find her email. But,
Mhm.
so if we can come up with something, I'll ask her to take a stab.
Another theme where a couple of them put the date since 1891.
Oh, that's right, yeah, since 1887.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking not just design, but color too.
Right.
Is there a color scheme already in mind?
I remember going
I'm
through
trying
this
to
when we
think.
did the current one, with the colors and such, and we opted on the green. but I don't remember
Yeah,
what
that
our-
was just David gave us some different examples of color schemes. And of course, that the architectural drawing of the building that's on letterhead and everything. I mean, that's kind of been our default
Mhm.
look of that image.
Which is kind of pastel, isn't it?
It's kind of bluey greeny.
Yeah.
I can't blow it up. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's kind of why we went with the green for the,
Yeah, to pick it.
to pick up the greens. And you can't really see it, it's tiny, but.
Is it Alt plus sign enlarges your browser window?
I don't know if it'll do the
Or
picture.
Control plus?
Geez, I do this all the time at work and I don't even think about it.
As a trick, I just find I'm excited about it.
Like I said, I do it all the time at work, but I can't remember which one it is. Oh, yeah, it is enlarging the picture too. Okay, it's getting pixelated, but.
Yeah.
So, Michelle, it's a little bit.
And that font, I think is typical, that's also the font that's on our letterhead and in the cards that we have, that with the capitals and the, all caps and the,
Different sizes.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Sorry.
I think,
It's our font.
yeah, I think at the time, I think you kind of redesigned everything once we redesigned this, right? Or the other way around?
Not really,
No?
no, no.
Okay, put that back, it's driving me crazy. So does anybody have particular thoughts on a logo, or?
Seems like one of the things too, we talk about is stacked. Almost all of them. No, exception. I don't know what that is. More than half, they're stacked. There's a word and then a word underneath
Mhm.
instead of
Mhm. Right, right.
across.
Right, like Raleigh Public Library instead of Raleigh Public Library.
Yeah, which, what it does is say Raleigh
Mhm.
Public Library.
Like,
instead of-
like Amesbury,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it focuses it, the town and the public library part
Mhm.
instead of it all being run together.
Yeah.
And the orange and reds are really hard to see.
I
Really
don't, yeah, I'm not a fan of the oranges and the yellows and the reds. Cambridge is okay, it's a little more cranberry.
Yeah.
I like their look.
Yeah, it's cool. Which
Um,
means that you can't even read that open to all.
And I only just realized right now that
Oh.
that's probably a drawing of the library. I think
Yes.
it was just like a cityscape.
No, I assume it is too. Yeah, for the colors, speaking as somebody who has a very difficult time seeing colors, please don't do color on color.
Right.
I went to one today where the only way I could read it was to highlight the text.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a dark gray with red letters or something.
Mm.
I couldn't read it at all.
And that's actually one of my questions for Tom. I know we're not to that yet, but accessibility issues.
Yes. I actually want to speak to you about that too, with the computers that we have here, if any of them have any kind of a magnifying screen or anything that we can do. But that's a different
So
discussion.
I like, for example, Robin's library. It's on the bottom of one of the pages in the middle, where it has, I guess I just kind of like that sort of abstract design,
It's a
which is
window.
not what I just said, which is, you know, we have our cute little building drawing. I really like the Nantucket one, again, that sort of detail.
I was actually just looking, I didn't notice it earlier, but it just struck me now, the Gleason Library, the way they've got the, it's at the top of,
I should have numbered the pages, sorry.
I don't know what page I'm on, 2, 3, I don't know.
The
It's
big
green.
one at the top.
Because it echoes the shape of the window as a silhouette behind, or as a watermark.
Yeah, there's like a watermark, yeah.
It just kind of struck me now as I was looking at it.
So it's like a architectural close-up
Of the top of the window.
The window.
of a piece of something.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, that's that theme too. I like that. I do like it stacked. I don't like that Gleason Public Library is all in one.
Mhm.
Which one?
The one you're.
Oh, the one, oh, see, that doesn't bother me, but,
But I like Robin's library a lot. We're bigger.
Mhm.
It's- This one?
I think like Amesbury and Worcester, where they do this little cutesy booky thing, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of that.
oh, well, the river in Amesbury, I see that.
Oh, is that what that is?
I think that's what that is, the river, and then going into the book, and I think they were trying to pull all the aspects.
Okay, I see that it's,
I'm-
I didn't see it as a river before, I saw it as like the book is flying swishy
Oh, okay.
thing, that's what I saw.
No, I think it's the fact that the red brick factory building, the river, and the library at the same, or book rather, at the same time.
Okay,
That's my interpretation
I'm sure that's correct.
anyway. And which other one with the cute book thing?
Worcester, on the bottom of the Gleason
I
page.
remember I didn't like this. I don't remember what it looked like. Oh, right, well,
It's the 2 books.
yeah, the 2 books to form the W.
It's just a little cutesy, I think.
Um,
You know, the other thing we could do is we could commission someone to draw, like the Forbes Library, or there was a couple others that had the drawing of the whole building. I mean, not like Priscilla did,
But
but
don't
more.
we have that in,
Milton has.
in that picture that we already have? The one that's on the website now that we use on,
It is a drawing of the
Yeah,
building.
yeah, but
But Jen, you could talk about
I meant
sketch,
more
right?
like a,
like a black.
like a
and white,
line
okay.
drawing, yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't Georgetown have something like that too?
There were lots of libraries that had pictures of their library. I didn't print out any of those because it wasn't really what we're looking at. I mean, photographs of the library. Most sites had a photograph, if not in the headline, in the body, you know, somewhere.
No, Georgetown's is a it's like an architectural.
And they have a tagline too, right? It's like,
No, it's just your new library home.
Your new
I think
library
it's
home.
the website, I would assume, no?
oh, okay, they're referring to their new website.
I'm, again, guessing.
The Gloucester one is terrible.
Yeah.
The colors were
Yeah.
awful. Really hard to see.
Mhm.
Oh. Is that a tree?
I think it's a
so.
tree,
It's like-
yeah.
It's like an evergreen or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's an evergreen tree. So what I'm hearing so far is we like cool colors more than warm colors. We like Raleigh Public Library stacked, not spread out. And we like maybe an architectural detail, possibly the windows of our building. Any differing opinions there?
I like that. Sounds like sort of what we've been saying.
And tagline or no tagline?
Well, with those 3 pieces, we can have Jane's friend take a stab at it and ponder that.
Right.
Good idea.
Or maybe, I mean, if you're going to incorporate a tagline, that is going to change your graphic, the weight of it, the balance and all that.
Yeah, and I was wondering if it's something we would want to add later, because it would be tricky if we've already decided on how it's going to look.
Mhm.
Right.
You said you liked the tag.
I don't know.
I think it probably depends on the tag.
Yeah, exactly, right.
I mean, I think people do that when they're really doing a marketing campaign.
Mhm.
You know, like, for example, the library director in Lowell, her email ends with, like, Lowell, exciting, magic, alive, whatever it is, and it's
So
in
it's the city's tag.
Yeah. But it's in her email, and like, and I said, like, Westford, that widening Westford's world, I know I've seen that on other things. They did, what I was looking for that I thought I might have had in my folder is they did a sort of by the numbers, you know, 40,000 items checked out, 20,000 ebooks downloaded, 1,500 programs attended, just a little sort of by the numbers list, and they had it nicely printed on cardstock. It was bigger than a bookmark. It was probably like half this page that way.
Okay. And what were they doing with that?
I don't know. I don't know. So Janet, you weren't in the room. I guess nobody else was here for the gala, but the Heart of the Community, remember David did pull a flyer for that?
Yeah.
I meant to look at that today.
I'm sure I probably have one somewhere at home, but I certainly don't have it with me. So yeah, the town seal, you were talking earlier also about the round. The town seal is very basic. It doesn't have, I mean, it could certainly be on there somewhere. It's definitely the town library, but I don't know that we want to make it our logo necessarily.
No.
So,
I think it might just be me, but I think the logo more depends on how the website is. Because the website needs more overhaul than like the logo does right now. So like if we do a website where it's more like left or right justified, or if it's more spread out, like that's gonna kind of work into how the logo is gonna be set up, whether we can do it, you know, all out, or if we can block it like you were saying. So I feel it kind of depends on how we lay out the web page as well.
Well, I think Tom will work with whatever we give him. Most of these, I'm sure you can picture, were in, you know, the upper right of the web page,
Yeah.
and there was like a continuation of the color scheme, and then over here was like your quick search or your hours open or something like that. So mostly I just pulled just the important, you know, the logo part of it.
And if it was something that was laid out horizontally, we could continue to do what we have now, which would be, you know, in the left side of that,
Yeah.
the logo we come up with, and then address, hours.
This one,
just like we have now.
this is the Manchester one, and I wish I had kept track of the ones I just randomly looked at today, because there was another one not at all similar in layout, except that the title bar across the top there maintained no matter what page you were on, and it included the library hours.
Yeah.
So no matter where you are on the website, you can see the hours, you can see the
I
name of
think
the
that's
library.
important.
So, but I don't remember which library it was. So, I think that something like, that's not to do with the logo or anything, but I'm just thinking that, like you said, kind of a bar all the way across.
Yeah.
And obviously, we have to just sort of bear in mind the size of people's screens and stuff, you know, whether we want it to grow to fit the screen and shrink and stuff.
And it's interesting that there's no news on that landing page, it's just the image. Like most of them
There's one little piece of news
have,
and events.
okay, so there is news and
There's news and events there, but it's not, it's really all about the picture.
Right.
Or, you know, mostly.
There goes
Which is a very pretty
the
picture.
Bing look, as opposed to the Google look.
Yeah. It's just a little stripe of news there, that's all.
And that's definitely one of the things that I think we need to be
We should have been projecting.
talking about is what's important to, like, we're assuming we're gonna have a sidebar of stuff that doesn't move, what needs to be in that, what's most important. You know, some didn't necessarily have the hours, but a link for hours and a link for directions always stayed on the top.
And
And
hours
there's a
is
million ways to organize the information we want on there, and I'm sure Tom will have some ideas as well, or whoever we hire.
Do you happen to know, this just I mean, I go to this page all the time, but the online resources is the only page that doesn't maintain our title bar?
That's correct, and that is because back when there was a NIMRLS, one of the services that NIMRLS offered was they would host a portal page for you.
Okay.
And so when they ceased to exist, we just grabbed,
The portal page.
yeah.
Okay. I never even noticed because I just go to where I'm looking for them.
Mhm.
But, okay.
And that's on the portal. I definitely want to read you the portal page. You know, most of the libraries, well, most of the databases have an icon, a novelist icon, a Safari Books Online icon, and we've never bothered to incorporate any of those. We just have the text links.
Mhm.
So that's one thing that I think should be in the new one. So, I mean, I guess as far as like, I don't want to get off the logo.
So going back then to that, if we have agreed somewhat that we're looking for architectural rendering of building or window or some such, are we going with that font, or with the font we have, or with something, you said this is Garamond?
That is Garamond. Yeah, I don't have that font, but I'm sure Priscilla would share it with us if we like it.
Do we?
I do. And the friends use it, right?
I see it.
Can you turn the back a little? Sorry, can I see that at all?
Yes.
Should we press it down?
Yeah.
I guess my only concern about it is the readability.
Yeah.
Like, does the little funky letters detract from the readability at all?
Well, we wouldn't use that font.
It would only be for the name of the library.
Yeah, it would just be,
I would think.
you know, at the top, maybe titles, pages, I mean,
Because even now, it looks like everything is pretty much, it's all sans serif other than the name of the library.
yes, but content.
Yeah,
So
what Arial or whatever it is everybody's supposed to
it's
use.
probably
yeah.
Arial, yeah. Yeah, if people would get confused by the ups and downs of that one. We can do some font searching.
So, one thought is we could maybe have a homework assignment, and everybody bring 2 taglines to the next meeting, something like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or, you know, maybe the tagline will come out of our long-range planning that we do, and we will incorporate it later. Or maybe it's not necessary at all.
Well, even if we all come back with a couple, it's no guarantee that we'll like them, so. Look into that, I'm sorry, I'm adding to the tasks. Okay. Next up. Riley Reed's update, is that just kind of incorporated or?
Yeah, we wrote the letter of intent. There is a mandatory workshop that is January 15th. Well, there's several of them all over the state. The one that's closest to us is on January 15th. And then,
What day is that then?
I think it's a Tuesday?
What time is it?
I don't know. And I'm not sure they've set a time yet.
15th, it's a Tuesday. It is actually the night of our meeting for January,
Okay.
just FYI.
I don't think it's an evening thing. I think it's a daytime thing. So I mentioned before with the 375th, at the next 375th meeting, I'd like to sort of let that committee know sort of what the library plans to do, and that we also need, you know, this lead time to plan it, and that we'd like to have some of them be on our, you know, maybe it's a committee that sort of straddles a subcommittee, I mean, that's sort of composed of both.
Pam, did you just say at the next 375th meeting, which is January 1st?
January 2nd.
January 2nd, I'm sorry. You want to let them know what we're planning to do?
I already did.
Oh,
At the first meeting, I said, well, the library's planning a community
Oh, okay,
meeting.
I thought you meant like all of our plans.
No.
Have you seen how quickly we were?
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. That's okay. Key holder, Phil has a key, he has a security code, he has been given instructions on how to lock the doors.
I'm not entirely sure I do correctly every time. They don't open, so I figure out.
No, oh dear, don't say that, Michelle.
If I get a call at midnight tonight.
Forward them to me.
I sent an email requesting me to the key.
To Scott, to get that key back.
Any update on the wish list technology and such?
Yes. Well, there's another issue. I told you when I first talked to Jared, he was a little surprised that we wanted to talk about more equipment after just having done a big upgrade. But the server is the next oldest thing in the building, and we've been having problems with the internet just suddenly crashing. Just nothing, no pages will load. You literally, you sit and wait for your page to load for like 5 minutes. We have a little lead on what might be doing that. We think it's a service that's running on the server. Because when there's like a riot in the reference room and people are angry because they can't have the internet, I'd say, oh, let me restart the server, like really more to mollify them because I think it's going to work. And I was surprised that it works. So that leads us to believe that there's a server problem. But in fact, we think now that it's a service problem. The only difference between the staff internet traffic and the public internet traffic is that the public internet traffic goes through a web filtering software. And that might be what's crashing or hanging or something. It's a very old product, it's end of life. If we did get a new server and we did want to continue to filter, we would need a new product anyway. So the next experiment is, the next time we have a crash, I'm going to restart just that service and not the whole server, and then we'll know if that is what's causing the problem. The other thing that Jared and I talked about is, because I was talking to him about taking over our domain, and we're doing a new website, and apparently they have a very robust server next door that is not only serves all their needs, but also all of the annexes needs. They're connected through a WAN. And Jared had all kinds of light bulbs going off. I'm like, well, why don't we just do that? It's there. It's got plenty of room for whatever you need it to do. So that's what we're looking at now. And that would probably be it would be our email server and our server. I'm not sure what would happen with backups. Right now, we're backing up to the server to one of our staff PCs, but that's, details. So that's what they're thinking about now.
And what would that be for email address?
Domain management is really the only other thing.
No.
I'm not sure what would happen with backups. They might do take backs on backups in there, I just don't know.
Okay.
Are there any updates at all on plans for requests, the young adult writing program? We already have focus on it and the staff appreciation report.
Janet, I'm confused. I was thinking that the logo discussion and the web proposal discussion were two different items, but those are actually the same item. So we didn't talk about the proposal at all.
The actual proposal.
Right. And I guess since we're not ready to move forward, we don't need to talk about it. But
did everybody see it? That Pam sent the actual proposal from the gentleman that would work with us or may work with us?
What was this one again?
This is the proposal to redo the website from
Oh,
the
yes.
gentleman who knows
Oh,
what's
yes, I
doing.
heard that one.
Okay.
sorry.
Um, So
So as I said, he doesn't really address making the website accessible to people with vision impairments, so that's going to be an important piece of it. And I also didn't think to ask him about a mobile version, but I will.
Okay, excuse me. I doubt he wants to actually get it in his proposal, right?
Oh, that itself? I know, I was kind of like, oh, that's bad. That's bad, a proposal.
Yeah, proofreading all text on our website. Okay. It looked pretty thorough, but we can hold off. Did he give us a time frame for how long this is good for? Not that I think we want this off for long. but-
No, I mean, I mean, he works with municipalities and government, and I said, you know, that
Okay.
things move very, very slowly. I mean, he knew you were meeting tonight. I spoke to him Friday, and he knew you were meeting tonight, so we got the proposal to me. It's good. And, you know, feel free to go look at some of his work. He left, you know, he put quite a few references on here. And the reference that I got him from was Helena in North Reading, who just did a project with him. And what Helena told me as far as his fee was exactly the same, $2,000 plus whatever it is to license the theme from WordPress.
With the website, do we want to include with that as well for ability for social networking and as well as easy access with apps and maybe be able to use a smartphone to check out, hold the book or
A mobile
check out that way?
version.
That's what you meant by
Mobile version, yeah. I don't really know what's going on with the mobile version of Evergreen. I know it comes up from time to time at the membership meetings, but the development, you know, it just is what it is in an open source environment.
Okay.
So as far as the catalog, that would be an Evergreen functionality. But for our website, as far as readability, you know, I have been asking about that.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll table further discussion of that until we actually have something to propose to him. All right.
Yeah, because he's saying in here, we need to provide our logo and tagline and
Right.
design whatever we want. Now, are we going to seek a couple other bids as well?
We can.
Because I think it'd be prudent if we do so, rather than just focus on one, just to avoid any appearance of favoritism or people have in community, you know, have their suspicions, and even though we're keeping everything above board, I think it'd be prudent that we have a minimum of 3 bids. I do like the proposal that's here. It's very well stated, and specific.
And if you recall, the way we went about finding a vendor was I asked the libraries in our network who
Yes.
are using WordPress, who they use.
Right.
And looking at the products of those, looking at their websites, we liked the one that he designed the
Yes.
best.
So in regards to favoritism, no one here had ever heard of him before that,
Right.
before the recommendation from another library.
Right. But I can go back to that list that I got from the other libraries.
And it doesn't mean,
Just to see if it's a fair price
Just-
as well.
and just like with the town, it's not necessary, it's not required of us to look at the lowest bid. Because certainly somebody could come in and say, hey, I'll do $20 a year for you, and, you know, we might have just one page with just the library name, and that's it, that's not what we're looking
Right.
for. So it's not necessarily the lowest bid, it's what meets all of the needs that we're looking for.
And
some may not be able to do that.
referrals and recommendations too.
Right,
Or references, I mean.
Yes, because we do need somebody that's comfortable to work with,
Mhm.
especially if we're going to, anyway, go back for updates.
If we're in
for
an
them.
ongoing relationship.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
It's all right.
Somehow I thought that was 2 different items and that we were going to get to that.
Oh, no, I'll get it. So outreach, again, anything new on the big list on the young adult writing?
I think that they're the same thing, except that one of the bequest plans is for Michael shares and the e-readers, which are in.
The e-readers are here, I think
They're
we do
here.
that. right?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
still being processed, and we want to make sure that the staff is comfortable with them before they get pushed out.
And honestly, I haven't really put much thought towards content either.
And we haven't written a policy for them either, have we?
It's not been
Yeah, I'm
approved.
sorry, I was supposed to get that on this month's agenda.
Okay.
Sorry, that's.
Well, I have on here update on policies that we need a privacy e-reader and customer service policy, so.
Yeah, sorry, I should have sent that around. For the young adult writing program, we have researched to death what kids are looking for and got everyone's opinion on it, and we're ready to move forward now on scheduling facilitators to come and actually run the programs. There will be monthly poetry events, in addition to more frequent poetry slams, I guess we're hearing. So that'll be good to dovetail them. We will also have a weekly prose workshop. There was we did do research into what genre kids were interested in. We found out what that is. It's overwhelmingly humor. And then as we started talking to different writers about, well, how would a humor workshop differ from a mystery workshop, et cetera, et cetera. There would be differences, but what we also heard was it's also interesting to bring that all together, because the more diverse your creative minds are, then ideas spark. So as we look at facilitators, that may drive how many different workshops we have, but I think what we're looking at now is kind of bringing several together. And probably, definitely by the next board meeting, those will be scheduled and rolled out. We've collected our list of people who are interested, and now we need to start matching them up with schedules and programs.
Excellent.
We already talked about poetry slam and the appreciation.
Okay, cool. I'm excited.
And I'm sorry, I totally slipped on that.
I'm sure you must be too.
I was so excited to see 35 teenagers in this room. I can't even tell
At the
you.
same time.
So excited. It's just very thrilling. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. We'll definitely have another one.
Okay. Policy. We don't really have any updates on
I guess we
this.
haven't done any policy review.
So we need to get serious about setting some meetings after the holidays. And also just kick off that long-range planning. So I will send out some suggestions for meetings, January, February timeframe.
Just a warning about, when was the meeting in January, 15th?
Our January meeting, what did we just take, were we talking about? Yeah, 15th.
I'm gone from like the 18th through, all through ALA, so the January.
Okay. So you're not available at the end of January, the whole second
Yeah.
half of January?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So early January or February.
And I think early February, early January might be doable, because the first meeting would be kind of the planning to plan meeting, right?
Yes. Yeah, it really is just to get together and,
Yeah.
other than possibly, if anybody has thoughts on the privacy or e-reader policy and wants to sketch out some, or just list some ideas, that's
Well,
great.
the e-reader policy has been hashed out, it just needs to be presented and voted upon.
Okay, excellent, okay.
And customer
The
service, I
customer
think.
service just needs.
Customer
Yeah,
service,
I think
just needs
that-
to be
We've been
revised.
around that one a couple
Yeah,
times now.
I think I'm supposed to show it to Amy next. I think that's where we are with
Is that
that.
where we are? Because I
Yeah.
knew that it's been bounced around a couple of times. And were you not going to, I have somewhere in the back of my mind that you were going to speak, or at least that we tossed around the idea of having it presented to the staff by somebody other than you.
Bringing a trainer in,
Yes.
right. I did talk to, well, I went to, I'm not sure that I told the whole board this, but I went to a customer service workshop, an MLS workshop, and I spoke to one of their advisors, Deb Hoadley, and I just mentioned, you know, we might be looking for someone to present our new policy to our staff and do a little training, and I was kind of confused by what she was saying, but I guess I was kind of asking, is that something you do as a service provided by MLS? And she was trying to explain to me what they can and cannot do, and I didn't quite follow it, but I think if it's a consultation on a policy, that is within their mission, but if it's actually individual staff training, it wouldn't be in their mission. But she actually suggested a couple of other library directors, and I don't know if they typically do side work like this or what, but just people who are, you know, pretty good at this type of thing. I mean, I know them, and I know they're very well organized and keep, you know, run a tight ship, whatever. So that's another possibility. But I'm sure that even if the MLS advisors themselves could not do it, I'm sure they would recommend someone who could.
Pam, I don't remember if it was MLS or if it's MLPC, but when I went to the trustees orientation, one thing that they said was that they couldn't run a program just for one library, but if we wanted to host a topic and invite every other library, that they could do that. So, like, they couldn't, my interpretation of that, and I spoke to someone afterwards, is they couldn't necessarily present our customer service policy, but what they could do is do customer service training if we invited all the area libraries
But
as well.
I think what Deb was getting at was that if you as a board need help with the policy, that they have an advisory service as well. So it might fall under that
Okay.
general. And you know, the other thing is getting all 15 people together at the same time is very, very challenging. I mean, we have our staff meetings at 8 o'clock in the morning on Thursdays, and almost everybody can usually come to those, but that's literally the only time
Well,
in a week.
even the staff appreciation got
There was
14. No.
four who couldn't come.
There were 14 here.
There were 14 staff, because it was
Right.
18 total, and
Right.
and we were
Yeah.
we're trustees, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who didn't come. Olin, Richard, Beth, and Anna, so 4 people didn't come. But not all, you know, the pages don't, I guess, would we include the pages in customer service? That would be even more tricky.
I don't know that, I mean, they should know, because people could stop them and ask them questions.
I think you would, because,
Yeah,
like, I know I've been here times when I've seen Brad working directly with a
Right,
customer.
right.
With a,
so,
with
okay,
a
if the pages
patron,
are
it really
included,
makes a
it's
difference.
impossible, it can't be done.
So,
3 of them are teachers.
well, I was just thinking, can it be done in 2 sessions? Your usual Thursday morning and then
Yeah,
evening
I
or
mean,
something?
we did our CPR training in 2 sessions, and that was 8 people in one and 6 people in another, and then there were at least 2 people who are certified already and didn't need to go, so.
So where do we stand with that? What is the final?
Yeesh, I don't know. I mean, I would prefer, I think it would go over better if it came from someone besides me.
Okay.
So I guess we'll pursue that idea.
So you will go back to whom? That you talked to before to find out what the, do you think it's sufficient to have our policy reviewed by all of our employees, pages, whatever, and then to host a local training
In general.
to have that presented from else, you know, to just sort of reinforce the importance?
Or does it have to be a meeting about our policy specifically?
I think it has to be about our policy.
Is it?
I think in our
Because
policy,
we're going to
we're just-
prescribe certain rules, right?
And I think we're
I mean, I've looked at
defining
it
new,
so long.
but I think that we're defining new standards in that policy, and I think that if I remember correctly, I think part of the catalyst to start that, to create that policy was in order to set a higher standard. So
Yeah, I think there are
it
some
is
behaviors
specific.
that do need to be modified, yeah.
I think so, but also I think it's just, I think as time, times change, maybe it was never addressed before that, it's things, times
There are
change. Yeah.
expectations, yeah.
Right, and so, but I also agree with you, because in some cases it's just brand new, because we think that's the best policy, and we're trying to bring the library to another level. I wouldn't want anyone to read that policy and take it as a criticism of what's happening now, because
Right. It's not
because
where
our,
it's meant to be.
Right.
because our staff works their tails off, and it's amazing
What we do get done.
what we do get done,
And it's-
considering
Yeah.
the resources
So
that
it's
we have.
possible that we can explain that to them, it's possible that I can explain that to them in such a way that it's not like, you need to stop doing this and start doing that. I mean, that's obviously not our goal or the impression I want to create.
Mhm. Okay.
Pam, what about some of these other directors who are very good at this and whose library have a strong focus on customer service? What if we just check in with them and sort of get their opinion and find out if they've ever had to roll out something like this, and if they had certain tools or exercises or something? I mean, it may be that.
Or want to come
I
to
can
a
certainly
workshop.
ask.
Or want to come to a workshop.
Yeah, I can ask who's done workshops and how
Yeah.
they've gone over. The other thing that people can often do is just have a service day closed for half a day. That might be the way to go to get more people.
Also, yeah.
Because we're limited by when we can do it, because obviously someone's always covering the desk.
Right.
If we close for a service afternoon or whatever, the scheduling might be a little easier. Because you're not limited to only the times the library's closed.
Someone at the orientation also suggested that if there were two libraries geographically close enough together, and one library did want to take their entire staff for training, staff from the other library could cover. So, for example, maybe someone from, we take someone from Ipswich, someone from Georgetown, someone from Newbury,
And come
and they come
staff
and,
our
yeah,
building while we go
and check
to
books
whatever.
out while we
What
do
a
whatever we need
genius
to do.
idea.
It's funny, it kind of came, someone asked a question and that's not at all what they meant, and someone else was like, that's brilliant, you should do this, and brainstorming.
One thing they do, they've done it for a few years now, is shadow. So like our staff goes to your library and your staff comes to our library, and we just shadow for a day.
It's a good idea, just to see other ways of doing
Mhm.
Very good idea. All right, so you may just check with your list serve and see if others have introduced one. And,
Mhm.
okay. All right. Nothing else on building and grounds except
Have we got a new word?
Richard may trim some shrubs.
Have we got a new word?
I haven't heard,
Okay.
I haven't gotten any quotes delivered to me for the painting.
For the painting.
I know John was gonna follow up.
Nothing.
Yeah, John said he was going to call a couple of
Mhm.
times, but he couldn't make it tonight. So.
Can I tell you something? I went to a meeting at the Newbury Town Library, and their meeting room, they're only like 3 years older than us. Wow, it was just stains on the floor, none of the tables matched, so you were kind of like all weird, and it was just, it did not feel like this at all. So, for the use it gets, it's held up pretty well.
This room, yeah, this room is
great.
done really well. And these tables for that matter.
Yeah.
There's the one kind of wonky one. But you usually only find that one when we.
Well, yeah, no, they come loose and you have to tighten them up with an Allen wrench.
I have on here subcommittee report for disaster. Was there anything that came out of the meeting with Chief Broderick last month other than what was in the notes for the meeting?
We did ask him about the command center.
He said police or fire.
Yeah,
Okay, and to back up documents, back up.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, our essential function is at a VLC central site. I mean, that's, their servers are there, and that backing up is their problem. Anything we have here, I mean, there's nothing, you know, critical.
Okay.
There's stuff that you wouldn't want to have to create again, but as far as, you know, critical functioning, it's MVLC.
So if a disaster hit, our focus would be materials, saving materials, rather than records.
Well, we wouldn't have to save, like, patron records or anything like that.
But what I mean to say is we would have to worry about inventory, books,
Right.
our materials inventory,
Yeah.
more than the card catalog.
Exactly.
All right, that's easy. Their November Friends meeting was last Tuesday, Monday?
Monday. They moved it to Monday because the 375th is Tuesday.
Oh,
And Nancy's on the committee as well.
Okay. So it was actually a very short meeting. The chili cook-off, which normally would have already taken place, our venue just is not available, and there is not another one large enough in Roundley. So we will be holding the chili cook-off March 9th in Byfield at Governor Academy, at the Governor's Academy. All volunteers welcome. All chili cooks welcome. Anybody wants to cook?
Are they planning to send something out to let people know that?
I believe, well, Pam put it on our website, on our Facebook page, sorry. I believe Nancy was going to do a press release. Yep.
And you have contact with past judges, right?
Judges, no.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, contestants.
That's
I
what
sent an
meant.
email to pretty much every past contestant that I still had an email address for, and told them about the change date, and please, you know, keep us in mind. And I got one right back. Yay, I'll be there. But I was one out of quite a few. But so hopefully that'll be good. It's a whole new place, a whole new time of year.
Mhm.
So
And speaking of judges, probably
a lot of new judges as
you know,
well.
Harriet
Yes.
Stanley had been
Yeah.
doing it for many
For
years.
yeah. So they're already, I don't know who, but they're already tossing around ideas for judges. It was in the minutes of the previous meeting, which I was there. We talked about the basket raffle and how successful, which Michelle pretty much ran, by the way, did run. It was very low attendance, so there wasn't a whole lot of discussion. And now I'm trying to remember what else we talked about.
Did they elect officers?
They had done that the month before.
They had a
Oh, they
special
had?
meeting for that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, that must too.
The November meeting got very tossed up in the air, and so.
Nancy's sending a corporate appeal
She's
to the 187 businesses that there are in Raleigh by email, and the email will have like a PayPal link right in there. And she's working on getting that to time it with end of the year when people make their charitable donations.
So she's also working on that.
How is she getting that out? Is she doing it through the Chamber of Commerce?
Yeah, she got the emails from the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, but it's coming direct from the Friends?
Yes.
Okay. Friends meetings in general are the Tuesday before our meetings. If anybody, all are welcome. If anybody ever wants to attend and jump in. That's it on my agenda. So what I have managed to scribble down for action items,
Okay, can you email it to me?
I can, I was just going to repeat them now, but I won't. Then everybody should try to bring a couple of tagline suggestions to the next meeting. I will send out meeting time suggestions for policy and long-range planning for January, February timeframe. I will also follow up on a possible logo design person with our rather vague ideas
Do we need to bid that out?
for $20. I mean, if anybody else, yeah, I don't know.
You know,
Yeah.
be mindful of what they said about
Yeah.
community reaction.
Somebody else said they knew some. Oh, we didn't ask Priscilla.
You know, we could ask David as well.
Sure. If they're
We
interested.
could, you know, we could ask David if he wants to put a proposal for the website. I mean, he built the last one as a volunteer.
Yeah, he should.
But he still does, side jobs.
Sure,
Yeah, I
so he
think we
can be
should
one
ask
of the
him.
people.
Okay.
He certainly is familiar
Mhm.
with all the goings on here
And he may,
from very.
not be interested, but I'd certainly invite him
To
to
submit.
propose. Yeah.
Okay. You will check with Richard about shrub trimming
Yep.
as per our insurance rep's recommendation. And
And
also
then-
go to your listserv for two things, other possible website builders and how other libraries have introduced.
Well, I
customers.
already have the list of, and I was asking.
yeah, you'd go back to, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll go back and get more bids, that's my action item. And that, I was specifically asking about desires for work in WordPress. I mean, there's a gazillion library sites out there that are gorgeous, that are Drupal or, something else that I don't care to learn
I
at
was
this
gonna
time,
say,
so.
we've already decided we want WordPress.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, I think it's the easiest
Yes.
interface for updates.
Okay. And the customer service thing, and Michelle will send around, will you please send around the e-reader policy for
I
people to
will.
review? All right, that's all I have. Did I miss anything? Does anyone remember anything else?
I have updates. Totally not done.
You got everything except washing the dishes and clean the house.
Anybody wants to come do that at my house? Everyone welcome.
Volunteers welcome.
Volunteers welcome. Okay, if there's nothing else, if somebody could motion to adjourn.
We're going to do the site tour.
Oh,
Final one.
Yeah.
do you want to do that?
Adjourn first, then do that?
Yeah,
Or
let's
do that, then
adjourn,
adjourn?
because we're not actually going to make a decision, we're just going to read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, second.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
All right?
Okay, adjourning at 8:57. Thank you very much.